fulfillment of Bible prophecy, the land from north to south is returning to its ancient fertility. The greatest miscalculation President Nasser of Egypt ever made was his demand that the United Nations remove its peacekeeping force in the Sinai. This inevitably touched off the '67 war. Although outnumbered, the Israeli army overran the combined forces of Egypt, Syria, and Jordan in 6 short days. In fulfillment of Bible prophecy, the Sinai, the Golan Heights, the West Bank, and Old Jerusalem became Israeli territory, one of the greatest military feats in history. The old city of Jerusalem was taken in fulfillment of Zechariah's prophecy. Behold, I will make Jerusalem a cup of trembling unto all the people round about, when they shall be in the siege both against Judah and Jerusalem. And in that day I will make Jerusalem a burdensome stone for all people. All that burden themselves with it shall be cut in pieces, though all the people of the earth be gathered together against it. Jerusalem is a problem to 2 groups. Verse 2 identifies the people round about Israel, Arab nations. Verse 3 states that the city is also a burdensome stone to all the people of the earth. Verse 6 reveals that as a result of war with the Arabs, the people round about, Jerusalem shall inhabit its own place. Even in Jerusalem, a unique phrase. What does it mean? In 1948, when Jordan took the old city, Israel declared the new city of Jerusalem as its capital. But in their hearts, the Israelis knew the Bible Jerusalem was in the hands of the Arabs. When Jordan entered the '67 war, the Israelis attacked Old Jerusalem with a religious fervor. With the capture of the old city, Jerusalem, Israel's capital, now occupied its own place, even in the biblical city of Jerusalem, a remarkable fulfillment of Zechariah's prophecy. Not only were Jews denied access to their holy places during Jordanian occupation, the holy places were deliberately desecrated. Sacred stones were used for walkways. Since the '67 victory, a Muslim holy place has never been desecrated by Israel. Both Arabs and Christians have access to their holy places. Between 1948 and 1967, Jordan had systematically destroyed the old city's Jewish quarter, leveling synagogues and eliminating evidence of Jerusalem's Jewish character. Since 1967, the Israeli government embarked on an ambitious building program. The old synagogues have been rebuilt. The largest, Hervah, was left in ruins, this arch being built as a memorial to another of the endless list of indignities suffered in the Jewish quarter. Now, with the old city once again in Israeli hands, such indignities have been brought to an end. The restored Jewish quarter is sufficient testimony that Jerusalem could never be surrendered after the remarkable recapture of Israel's true capital in the 67 war.
Stand in silence upon the hills of time, to hear the voices of the city as bells of evening shine, the shofar sounding from the temple to call the world to prayer. The shepherd pauses in the valley, and peace is everywhere.
Jerusalem means city of peace, yet few cities have experienced more wars than Jerusalem in its 4,000 years. Still a center of controversy, the Bible reveals that Jerusalem will soon become the city of eternal peace, the capital of God's kingdom, which will bring peace and righteousness to the whole earth. One senses the presence of those prophets who, centuries before, walked the streets of Jerusalem. History surrounds you. David's shaft, through which his army entered Jerusalem unawares and captured it. King Hezekiah's tunnel, constructed over 27 centuries ago. Archaeological digs yield thrilling finds. The stairs and paved streets that led to the Second Temple. The divine name on a silver amulet dating back to the days of the First Temple. Babylonian arrowheads next to the remains of an Israeli defense tower. The first evidence of the siege and destruction of First Temple Jerusalem. Further excitement is felt at the discovery of the actual foundation stones of both the First and Second Temples. Who can doubt Jewish antiquity in Jerusalem? Who can doubt Israel's right to Jerusalem? Further, this is the holy city of the Jews, as is pointedly reflected at the Western Wall, part of the Temple Mount. For centuries, this was the center of Jewish worship, especially during the periods of the First and Second Temples. Is it any wonder that the Jews throng here to pray, the same place at which their ancestors had worshipped for nearly 3,000 years?